damn right you're scared. I can see that in your eyes.
All right, man.
Go ahead. Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Listen, mister, I'm getting awful tired of your...
I'm getting tired of your gas. Now jerk that pistol and go to work. I said throw down, boy. Oh. You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
Yes.
I want to wrestle you so freaking bad. Wrestle me.
Welcome back, all you motherfuckers, to Juice Pro Wrestling Podcast, episode 181, The Spoils of War. With us, speaking of spoils of war, man, this guy has had a great year. It's been about a year since we've been able to have him back on the show, but I've seen him backstage at Warrior, and I've talked to him online. Dude, I fucking love this guy. May I present to you the Warrior Wrestling Lucha Champion, the Galli Wrestling Champion, the one, the only, Sam Adonis.
Oh my
Sam Adonis, brother, how the fuck are you?
I'm a lot better now that I heard that Ultimate Warrior promo to introduce me here to the Juice Pro Wrestling Podcast. And I guess I could say I'm ready to skin that pistol with you guys right here, right now. Happy to be back. It's been great. It's been a great year, a great 12 months, but it's also been a hell of a 1 month into this new year. It's just been insane. Everything's kind of fallen into line, and I don't want to jinx myself. I don't want to jinx any of us, but believe it or not, things are starting to feel kind of normal again, which is terrifying.
What is that word,
terrifying.
normal?
After 2 years of us all being locked in our houses, not being able to communicate, shake hands, or share a beer, we're about as close as we have been in a while to experiencing life as it was. And, I need to I'm going to touch some wood real quick to make sure we're good. But I'm
not that wood.
Yeah, you don't know where my hands are, brother. But I'm in a really good spot, and I couldn't be happier with the way things have been going and the way we've kicked off 2022.
Speaking of kicking off 2022, real quick, I want to dive into, take you back almost a month ago now, maybe a month ago in South Bend, Indiana, brother. What a hell of a show. Kudos to Warrior Wrestling for venturing out of their comfort zone. The Bendix Arena is an amazing setup, dude. It gives me that old school, kind of like WCW Saturday night vibes, where they had the ring on the fucking spinny thing. I wish that little extra they give you, I wish it spun around. That would be dope, man.
It would be cool for the entrances, but doing a lucha match in a spinning ring is just a for disaster.
Right. But dude, one hell of a fucking show. I got the ring bell for the entire show, which was amazing, dude. That Brian Cage, Will Ospreay match. Jesus Christ. I know we talked backstage and you're just like, dude, that's what the fuck did I just see? Those guys went hard, and I'm going to give a shout out right now to Brian Cage, man. Cause I think, a lot recently he's been getting kind of dogged on, the toxic social media sites and shit. And that dude don't deserve that shit, man. Cause that match just proves what that guy is still capable of doing. But dude, the Lucha Scramble, right? You were in the match. As a fan, I had no inkling. I should have probably known better, but sometimes it's best to be dumb about this shit so you can be excited when the good happens. Pay attention, boils and ghouls. You come out on top of an insane Lucha Scramble match to win the second ever guy to hold the Lucha Championship for Warrior Wrestling, dude. How the fuck did that feel to finally get your first title in Warrior Wrestling?
Well, it's no secret now at this point that I am about as big of a fan of Warrior Wrestling as any of the fans that actually go to the show and watch it. To me, it's cool as a professional to be a part of an organization like that. You know, you guys know Steve and Eric and the crew they use, you know, the War Horses, the Ospreys, the Brian Cages, the Brian Pillmans, the people involved. You know, it's like the old adage, you don't need the best players, you need the right players. And, you know, it really feels like Warrior Wrestling is one of those special time vortexes where everything is kind of lining up in the right position. You know, they talk about sometimes you got to catch lightning in a bottle, but the one thing in wrestling that is almost impossible to plan for or prepare for is organic growth. And it took us almost 5 years to get where we're at right now, but it feels like there's that organic excitement behind Warrior Wrestling. Every show is bigger than the last. Every opportunity is bigger than the last. And now, like I said, with the right players involved, we have that, you know, team mentality, and everybody wants to go out there and put on the best show and work their asses off. Now, you know, like you said about traveling to the Bendix Arena in South Bend, you know, we took one step forward in a new direction. You know, there's a show March 12th. We're going to Indianapolis for the first time. And it feels very, very special because, you know, I'm a bit different than most wrestlers. I think, you know, the term indie wrestling can sometimes be a negative connotation.
Yeah.
It can almost, you know, say if something's indie, it's smaller or it's, you know, not mainstream, it's not good. I almost don't like to use the term indie wrestling for Warrior Wrestling because it's such a well-polished, you know, fine-tuned machine full of the best professionals in the game, you know,
Yeah.
and our entire locker room is filled up with guys. You know, there's no contracts. It's still, yes, technically independent wrestling, but it just feels like, you know, we're on a bullet train heading full speed ahead and everything's lining up. So, I mean, it was an awesome night. The things that Warrior's doing is amazing. I'm proud to be a part of it. And it was a bit of a surprise to me just to be, you know, given the opportunity to be in that match. You know, I think the reason why I've been able to stick around with Warrior Wrestling for so long is because I always do exactly what I'm asked to do to a very high, you know, quality, to do it the very best of what I'm asked. And, you know, sometimes I'm asked to do a hardcore match. Sometimes I'm asked to do a high flying match. Sometimes I'm asked to do, you know, wrestle a legend.
Yeah.
And I think I've been able to kind of earn the fans' trust and their respect by doing what, you know, just delivering every time, almost becoming, you know, old faithful, if you will, you know, Derek Jeter, clutch player.
There you go.
You know, it's cool. And that night in particular, I was in the Lucha Scramble. You know, I don't think anybody, I don't know. I don't, you know, other than what I see in my personal social media, I don't know what people were saying about the match going into it, but I'm sure there was a certain people saying, well, Sam Adonis in that match, you know, there's so much incredible high flying talent out there. Just, I mean, whether they're in Chicago or just, you know, coming from Mexico, some of the best athletes in the business are in these Lucha style scramble matches. So I think a few people were probably surprised, you know, that I was given that opportunity. But what a lot of people don't know is, you know, in Mexico, my career, everything that I have in Mexico, I had to climb the ladder through the training system. I had to learn Lucha Libre. I had to train with Ultimo Guerrero. I had to, you know, do the 3 and 4 hour workouts where you're running the steps of an 18,000 seat arena, carrying guys on your shoulder, doing these drills, you know, so that's what I do. It's almost, I like to think I'm one of the only guys out there that still hasn't shown everyone all my cards because I use that as an advantage because every time you see a Sam Adonis match, you says, what's this going to be like? Oh, well, that was good. Now, you know, 4 years later, you ask yourself, well, what's Sam Adonis' style? Well, that dude can do anything. You know,
he's a wrestler. That's your style. You're a wrestler.
Exactly. So I still have a lot in the tank. It was a magical night. Aramis is just freaking ridiculous. He's one of my favorite to watch. Gringo Loco rocks. ASF, Drago Kid. All these guys are just incredible, you know, ridiculous athletes. And we were able to just, you know, take advantage of a good night. That building, like you said about the Saturday night setup, that there's something special about it. You can't create an energy. Sometimes the energy is either there or you're not. That building was built for energy. So, everything, all the stars aligned that night, everything clicked. And, it was one of my favorite moments because I don't think many people expected it. And I can watch that video of me winning the match. And it felt like, a bunch of my friends were there really excited to see it happen.
Dude, all of your friends were there because I'm telling you, whether you want to believe this or not, I mean, there's no way you can work heel in Warrior because you are the most over motherfucker in that promotion, dude. I mean, you heard that pop, dude. And like you said, the atmosphere, the energy of the Bendix Arena, dude. I was, sitting at the timekeeper's table, just grinning from ear to ear the whole time because it was amazing. And to see you when you won that belt, I'm like, oh shit, I got to ring the bell, but I'm grinning ear to ear. I'm popping and marking out like crazy, dude. And the crowd was too. And the great thing was, I mean, dude, I don't know how many like actual people from South Bend. I mean, the place was packed. Don't get me wrong. I don't know the ratio of like South Bend people to Chicago people, but it felt like we were, back at the school again because everybody knew what was going on. They knew you. And it was just amazing. How did that pop feel to you?
It was just a special feeling. It really was. It was one of those things I couldn't have expected it, but like I said, it goes down to being organic. It comes down to something. I think, in my opinion, we all have our opinions about wrestling. I think good wrestling and good wrestlers are subconscious. You can't point something out and say he's good because of that.
Right.
It could be somebody that's a great athlete that might not be a good wrestler. Or there might be a good ground wrestler that might not be able to work with the crowd. There's a million factors that get into everything. And a lot of times fans don't know what they like. They just see it and they either react or they don't. And like I said, it took me 4 years to get to that point. But I think, we're at the point now where it probably comes out in my confidence, the way I walk to the ring, the comfort I have with the fans. I can be silly and funny, or I can get wound up and, do something crazy. But I think everything just lined up in one of those, magical moments. And it's something I'm going to cherish forever. It feels really good to especially the first month of January 2022 to win a belt. And everybody wants to be a champion somewhere. It's nice, but it feels even better because the momentum that Warrior Wrestling has, it's awesome to me because the Warrior heavyweight champion is Will Ospreay. Then the champion is Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
I'm the secondary champion, if you want to call it that, the IC champion, if you want to say that, but
I wouldn't even say that, dude. I think that's the Lucha thing. It's like its own thing, dude.
Its own monster.
Right. You're bringing up Ospreay. Look at the pop Warriors been able to get with their title being in Japan at the Tokyo Dome. I'm sorry, but it doesn't get much bigger than that unless you're going to WWE, and I don't even think that's bigger anymore. I'm pretty excited. February 19th, we have the Rey de Reyes pay-per-view for AAA. So there may or may not be a little appearance of the Transformer belt. Ooh, see how it goes. Maybe. I wish I could get the buzz that Ospreay did when he walks out. Tokyo Dome or Veracruz, Mexico. They're basically the same. Yeah,
they're practically neighbors.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's cool. I mean, everything about it's good. Things are going so good. I couldn't be happier. And like you said, holy cow, that main event that night was just ridiculous.
That was off the hook.
Another great thing, and I love we do it all the time. With whether we have guests on that have worked Warrior, or we're just rapping with some people about how great Warrior is, or we're just with ourselves, experiences at Warrior to have. And I don't really give a shit what the general populace thinks about Dave Meltzer. I mean, he's kind of like, if you're a wrestling fan, I'm sorry, man, the dude's like a staple. He knows, how long has he been a fan of the business of the sport, knows his shit. I'm not a diehard by his rating system, but God damn, that is so awesome to have a Warrior main event, get 4.5 stars on Meltzer's scale. Dude, that's huge for Warrior,
it all ties together too. It's just, I'm a firm believer that, it really is a team sport. Pro wrestling, you need to know how to do your shit. You need to be on top of your game for your match number, for your part. And if we all know how to play the system right, we all win. We all get big crowds. We all get good paydays. The selfishness is why a lot of things are, in weird directions in other parts of the country, but it's nice because, like I said, it feels like Warrior has, the right players. And it's cool just knowing that Dave Meltzer's watching these matches. There's a good portion of wrestlers out there, that will never, ever be seen by Dave Meltzer. I mean, what's there, 15,000 wrestlers in the United States? A very huge portion of them, have their independent career that might be, make it to a certain level at some local promotion. But, Dave Meltzer's watching, big stuff, people getting recommendations, and just the fact that he's able to pay attention to what we're doing is pretty cool, and just, it makes you want to tie your boots a little tighter and work a little harder.
Exactly. Yep. And dude, he's on Twitter asking people for, results and any information he can get over the last several Warrior shows. And I'm like, that's fucking cool, man. Like, kudos to Steve and Eric. Like you said,
get out to one, Meltzer. Go to a Warrior. Come on, bud.
Capture lightning in the bottle and timing, dude.
He'll get there. I'm convinced he'll get there one of these days. He's just a busy guy. But no, it's Steve and Eric, and this is something that we've talked about in the past about just having the right people. It's it's really cool because I feel like I'm always on my best behavior at Warrior. I feel like these guys, it's almost like, I don't know if
unless Juice is feeding you some Stone Cold.
Yeah, so cool. That's usually after the show, and then everybody's calm by then. But it's like, I don't know if it's because it's a Catholic high school, but the whole idea and the principles behind it, not literally, but figuratively, the principles of, raising money for the, the underprivileged children and just creating all this fundraising and everything. It's just cool. And you don't want to go there and just be an idiot. You don't want to do something stupid to screw up. It's a good team, and it kind of makes you, if you feel like you do good with it. And I think maybe at the end of the day, maybe that's why I enjoyed Osprey and Cage so much, because it was one of those nights I had so much fun. I had my moment. I went in the back, got to hang out with some good people, and had time to kill. Hey, let's go watch this match. It's one of those special nights that I'll never forget because of the surroundings, the people there. And then you guys have been backstage. They take care of us with their catering. They have all the there's a million staff members always trying to help us out.
That catering at the Bendix was off the charts, bro. Like afterwards, Steve's like, "Hey, we're all gonna go out and get some food, drinks somewhere." I'm like, "Food? I get the drinks, but." Food, you guys had to spread that pizza that was out there was ridiculous.
Meatballs, man. Meatballs.
Oh, talking about meatballs? Oh, pizza?
I'm okay with it, man.
That's
although I am a bit, it's weird because I've been to Chicago. I'm there probably twice a month now, every month. And I don't think I've had Portillo's in about 6 months. And it's killing me. I need one badly. There's French dips. That's the best part about Chicago, if you ask me.
That's some good shit, man. We got one out here in Northwest Indiana, so man, I ain't got to go too far to get my French dip on.
Yeah, man, I'm ready for it. Yeah, so it's Saturday. I've been doing really. I'm back on my post-Christmas diet exercise regimen. So
I was disappointed. You were telling me at the last show, like, dude, you were giving me Beastman's beer.
I don't know if I told you guys last time, but I graduated high school at about 300 pounds.
Yeah.
So I've always been up and down. I have fat guy tendencies like you wouldn't believe. Even when I'm
feel you, brother.
If I have my abs popping, my chest and veins are going out, those are great. But all it takes is a weekend off, and I go to hit every Chinese buffet I need, go have 22 beers in the course of 10 hours. And
now you're talking.
I can lose that. I can gain that weight just as fast as I can lose it. So right now, I think it's one of those things, with the momentum and just being busy. And the nice thing is, it seems like what I'm doing right now, I'm at a certain, there's a certain level of prestige everywhere I'm at. I think this is the first time in my life that I have to maintain, not because I want to, but I physically need to. My matches nowadays are 25 to 30 minutes long, and
cardio, brother, cardio.
Being on the ring or being flying 2 or 3 days a week, not getting that sleep, I can't do what I did when it was just a little bit more fun, when it was just kind of, hey, cool, this weekend I'm flying to Georgia. Now it's to the point where I have to be a little bit more strict about what my decisions are during the week, because for example, Saturday we're back at Cicero Stadium and I have a match with Lince Dorado. And I know
Yes.
exactly, this is going to be a high intensity, fast paced match that I have to be there for because,
He's looking to take a piece of that ass too. I see him talking some shit.
it's going to be cool. It's just one of those things, with opportunity, you just have to step up. The nice thing is with more attention, with more opportunity and people are watching you, every little mistake is a little bit bigger and can hurt you a little bit worse. So, you got to make sure you don't give anyone that opportunity. So I'm definitely going to show up Saturday and, I promise we will tear the house down because, I have, it's my first defense. We got to set the precedent with this one,
There's no doubt about that. That match I'm looking forward to the most. And you look at that whole card up and down, that card is bonkers. But Lince Dorado versus Sam Adonis is going to steal the fucking show.
The nice thing about the Warrior show is we're all we're so different. There's a lot of everything on them. And it's, I don't think there's really any kind of competition because everybody is so good at what they do.
Yeah.
So if you watch The Office, you can't compare any of the characters. But Creed is just as funny as Andy Bernard, who's just as funny as Angela. These people are so different, but they're so well developed that if you take one of the characters away, it's not The Office. And I think that's kind of where Warrior Wrestling is. That everybody's kind of on the same team. But
shiny shit.
I just realized it was sitting right next to me, so I figured I'd make a cameo there for you.
Hell yeah! What about that galley strap, man, dude?
It's right here as well, man.
Oh my God.
I haven't had my first defense yet. God, this thing is a brick. I mean,
that's pretty.
This literally absolutely caved somebody's skull in.
Yes.
Yeah. So the one thing, it's really hard. A lot of times, everybody always asks, why didn't you bring the belt? Why didn't you bring the belt? I mean, when you fly to all your shows, it's kind of a hassle to carry 2 or 3 belts with you, especially with the check bag fees and the weight limits and stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's a good problem to have, but I think I need to give me a local Pittsburgh promoter or else nobody will have any proof that I have 4 or 5 belts at the same time,
You need to get you a young boy to fly with you, man.
There you
Just
go.
carry all your shit. We're still trying to get a young boy to take all the film footage, so I ain't got to do all that shit,
Here's the funny story about that. The first time I went to Japan, Ultimo Dragon brought me over. So I was his guy. So when we went it was an all Japan tour, but Ultimo Dragon, nice. I was considered like a luchador. So I get to the bus and I still, I watch a lot of wrestling and just stay in touch with what's going on. So, there's guys, Ayogi and Jake Lee, Naoya Nomura, these guys I've seen. I'm like, these dudes are good. Yeah. I get to the bus the first day and they get out and grab my bags and hand them to me. And it was so weird because, you don't see it happening. You don't realize in their system and that, Japanese respect system, they're still young boys. Yeah. And in my eyes, I'm still a young boy, but to see the guys that you're watching that are some of the best talent in the world, handing you your bags or carrying them for you because that's the traditions over there, it's just amazing. So I definitely wouldn't mind having a young boy traveling with me to some of these shows, or a young girl, young anybody, man. Anybody that wants to be a part of wrestling business can carry my belts for me in the airports.
You need to get the Bandit with you, man. Tell him get off that the ESPN, get off that football sports kick.
I haven't seen him in about 6 weeks, and it breaks my heart because nobody is more fun to spend time with than MK Bandit. I shit you not.
Dude,
Justin, you guys would scare me if you were in the same place too long.
Shit.
You're talking about a 2 or 3 day bender. You'd shut the bar down just long enough to go to the casino for the bar to open back up. You guys would just be out of control together. It'd be fun to see.
Hell yeah. And that might happen one day. You never know.
I can't wait. We were supposed to be together last Friday in Future Stars of Wrestling in Vegas.
Yeah.
My Pittsburgh got a real bad snowstorm. I ended up getting to the airport 2 hours early because I was convinced I was getting delayed or canceled, but it was not saying delayed or canceled forever. So I get to the airport. My girlfriend drives me and just we're in this snow covered highway. It was kind of scary, We get there 2 hours early. I'm waiting. And the phone, everybody's saying, oh, the flight's arriving in 10 minutes. I knew we were taking off. The guy started making his pre-boarding announcements. And as he's saying, okay, well, if you need a wheelchair, get here, come get your bag tags. The screen behind him changed, delayed 10 minutes or 2 hours, delayed 2 hours. And everyone's like, excuse, he just kept doing the announcements. He had no idea it happened until he put the thing down. And then like 2 minutes later, he was like, oh yeah, by the way, we're 2 hours behind. So I ended up missing my connection at O'Hare and never made it to Baltimore on Friday night.
God damn. Another day, another time. I know the weather's been real shitty. I just went to Dynamite during that snowstorm. Was it 2/22? Yeah. And that was nuts, man. We on the way back, I mean, we're on the highway 80-94. We're doing like 27 miles an hour, if that. My buddy's Tesla, and we saw probably a dozen cars on the side of the road because people just don't know how to drive or whatever the case is, dude. It was nuts, man. And then actually get out there, it was so damn cold. And to speak of what you were saying earlier about how everything's starting to feel like normal again, like you had to go in there, you had to wear, your mask to get in and show your vax card and all that. And I did all that, showed them my thing on the phone. They didn't even really give a damn about looking. They cared more about like if you're walking around, out of your seat, like have your mask on.
Yeah. So it's a complicated situation in wrestling, winter in general. I've promoted shows. I grew up around it. I've seen it. It's a double-edged sword because a lot of times January and February can be great because after the holiday, if you have the money, sometimes you're bored as hell. It's like, you know what? The 28th of January is wrestling. Let's just go. I haven't been out of the house in 4 weeks. Sometimes it's great, but the travel can screw you up so bad. And as a professional, it really is hard because, you have to, you can't just cancel every show whenever it's, you might get delayed. It's really not cool whenever, it's, oh, hey, we're supposed to get a big snowstorm tomorrow, so I'm just not going to come. That reputation gets out that you're canceling for potential snowstorms. You're going to lose a lot more opportunity in the future. So, that's why you got to figure out what you can. You got to think about how you're getting there, what time you're getting there, and if you're getting there. And, it's complicated, but you have to rise to the task. And, luckily this past Friday, completely beyond my control. Once it was, okay, I cannot physically do anything. I can get to Vegas at 11 p.m. on Friday for a show that starts to 7. That's as good as it gets. I'm sorry, I can't be there. And,
cards subject to change.
Right. When that happens, there's no harm, no foul. Usually the fans are cool with it. The promoters are cool with it, and everything kind of works, works as planned. Well, what happens if, something happens where I didn't make it, or if I said, oh, well, I thought it was going to be delayed, and that plane gets off, and I could have been there, but I was kind of, late. That just looks bad on me.
Oh, for sure. And dude, it's the same in, playing shows and traveling throughout the years with the band. I remember driving to Ohio with my bass player, and it was god awful out that night. Same situation, snowstorm, and we're in his truck. And I remember us kind of going sideways on the highway and think we were going to die. And there's semis coming behind us, but we did it because, like, especially in the music scene, you're going to cancel. It's like you said, you're going to cancel for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. And most of the time, even if it is legit, like, oh, well, these guys cancel, I'm not going to book them ever again. Right,
exactly. It's, again, there's the thing is, especially in wrestling now, there's so many other people willing to take your spot.
Exactly.
You can't give anyone an inch now. And it's just, I don't know. I've been pretty good about that. It's been a couple times I've missed because of weather, but very few. The thing is, when I lived in Europe for 4 years, right after my WWE contract. And when I got there, I got signed to WWE at 21. So I moved out of my parents' house, and I had never established credit. I've never did it. I didn't have my lease. I bought a used car just for whatever reason at 21, didn't have a credit card. Didn't know anything about it. Didn't know how to get one. So I'm just saying, screw it. I'm moving to England. I'm going to wrestle over there. So I lived in England and I did it all without a credit card. I did it all literally like backpacking through Europe. And when that happens, it really, really teaches you lessons about life and about being on time and not missing opportunities. Because let's say, for instance, I would have 36 shows in a month, and then September would be nothing until, let's say, September 28th. Well, September 28th, I might be able to get 300 euros in Italy, but I have to fly out of London to take a bus. So I would have to literally just do whatever I can to save the money to get there. And if I missed that flight, I might not be eating that month. You know what I mean?
Right.
So those experiences were beaten into my head. And I think now it's kind of almost just the way I am. I wouldn't feel right just saying, you know what? No, I'm good. Yeah. I just have these weird old, quirks in my head about being on time and making sure you fulfill your commitments just because, your reputation is really all you have.
Yeah. And dude, it's helped you immensely. Well, I want to go back to in the year since you've been on the show last, I joke around with Bodi and Sreten. I'm like, man, dude, Adonis on the show. Now he's got that jpdub rub. Like, who the fuck are we? He's on Impact Wrestling, dude. He's in the NWA. He's like in all these places. Like, tell us a little bit about those experiences, man.
It's everything's just kind of, clicking at the right time. Mm-hmm. It's so nice. When was the last time I was on? Do you remember the month? Of last
you know what? It was, I think, literally about a year minus a few days. We'll be over a little bit over a year and a few days.
Well, it's kind of weird because, the pandemic sucked the soul out of a lot of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I felt, especially with AEW coming out, there was kind of a whole buzz and an energy about, new is good. And I've been doing this a long time. I've been very fortunate to have a lot of opportunities, and I also know, you either know me and like me, or I'm not your cup of tea. And that's,
right.
Really no in between, but I've never really had a hard time finding work. It would probably been about last winter, maybe into spring. I was kind of starting to think like, what should I do? Should I start sending tapes in again? Should I start calling people? Like, something wasn't happening. Something wasn't adding up. I was, felt like I'd plateaued, I should say. And then all of a sudden the call came in from AAA, and AAA was, that was the beginning of a new era, if you will. I was very fortunate to have a really good run in CMLL. So when everything started falling into place for me to finally go to AAA, I was brought in a great position. I debuted in a main event of a pay-per-view, which is, whether you're a Lucha fan or not, just think about the whole, what about pro wrestling, that debut spot doesn't happen very often. So, it made me feel good. I was doing okay. Sometimes you just have to be patient and wait for the right opportunity. That happened, and everything just kind of started, falling into place, just getting, opportunities and friends and wrestling. If you ever, the one thing that, people will try to convince you that they didn't see something, that's bullshit. Everybody sees everything that everybody's doing. And if they tell you they didn't, it's because they're jealous or something. We all know what everybody's doing at any time. And that's just the way it is. That's when everybody started saying, hey, dude, good job here. What are you doing here? Let me talk to this guy and this guy. So right after AAA happened, I was contacted by NWA, who was with Tom Latimer and Nick Aldis are good friends of mine. Chris Masters, a friend of mine. A lot of these people were just kind of like, oh yeah, we forgot about Sammy. He does good shit, and that happened.
Welcome.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of the way it worked. And then all of a sudden, in a month span, I was doing a AAA pay-per-view, NWA tapings. I got an opportunity with Impact. D'Lo called me, said, hey, let's try to get you down here sometime soon, which was awesome. And everything kind of just started falling back into place. And now it's still, I'm probably happier than I've ever been as a wrestler, because I think very few people can say that they're as in control as I am. I don't have a contract anyway. And I love that. I look at a guy like Bruiser Brody, who's like a hero of mine. He was one of the biggest stars on the planet that never signed a contract anywhere. My word is my bond. I know if you use me, I'm going to give you everything you want me for and more. And right now there's a bunch of people that I'm able to juggle and work with, you know, to keep myself in a good spot without having to you know, kind of be told what to do. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. You know, I would gladly let
That's
you
right. You tell Billy that you ain't doing what you don't want to do.
with enough zeros next to my name on a contract, you can tell me anything you want. But my point is, right now, everything's
Caveat,
cool. You know, I'm in charge. I'm able to do what I want. There's a lot of work out there, a lot of people that, you know, that are taking care of me, and I'm just happy to be able to stay, spread thin. You know, that, and when you're able to stay diverse like that, you know, it's no different than a rock club. You can play every Tuesday night at the local karaoke bar, or you could play, you know, a different every Tuesday in a different bar in a different city or a different country. You know, you're as a professional, you kind of up your game. You step a little, you play a little bit different.
Hit those different markets, yeah.
So, you know, that's really awesome for me. I like to think right now I'm almost like a politician out there, just collecting fans, collecting votes on the street. You know, I could go to Tulsa, Oklahoma tomorrow, and nobody had any idea who Sam Adonis is. But after my show, you know, the following continues.
The whole state knows you.
Exactly.
The Bible Belt loves Sam Adonis.
Yeah.
I know the Bible Belt probably would have liked the Trump gimmick. I'd have been a babyface there, you know.
They would have loved it. They would have been raising their 2.5% beers up like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Progress is over.
Progress.
It's just cool, man. It's everything's been falling into place, and I'd like to do some more with Impact. I'd like to do some more. NWA is coming up here in a few weeks. It's just I just feel in charge, which is cool. You know, there's nobody can, you know, take anything away from what I'm doing for me. No one can say, yeah, well, he was better there. That was him at his best. You know, that's the beauty of freedom, and that's at the end of the day, that's what a lot of people, you know, not just wrestlers, but people want, you know, to be able to have fun doing what they love to do. And that at the end of the day is my MO right now.
Hell yeah, most definitely, dude. Take a great professional wrestler like yourself. Let's rewind 20, 30 years when you only had like 2, maybe 3 promotions to where you could do all this stuff and get the exposure, you know, that you're getting now with the advent of social media and streaming services. It is, dude, it's so fucking cool because you're on all these, to me, they're all big time promotions. They're doing something. NWA is doing something that's unique. You know, Impact is continuing to do something and carve their niche, you know, 20 years into the game when everybody said they were fucking bankrupt and gonna sell, you know, next Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. That shit ain't happening. And there's still plenty of other places. You know, MLW is another place I'd like to see you whoop some ass.
Yeah, no. It's definitely cool because you're able to kind of control your narrative through your social media. You know, let people see what you're doing. And it feels good to be in that much of a demand, you know, to get those opportunities, you know, and to actually not necessarily have to go out and search for them, but to say, hey, I think within wrestling, like I said, you either, you know, like me and you want to use me on your shows and make me part of your team, or I'm not your cup of tea. But I don't need to change and try to be your cup of tea because my cup of tea has been this way for 15 years now, you know, and if somebody wants me, you know, it's great to know that, hey, you know, Impact, let's do a shot here. AAA, let's do a shot here. You know, I'm hoping to get back to Japan this year. And it's nice to know that, you know, with your social media, you can kind of stay in control, do what you want to do, and not necessarily have to sell out. Maybe I hate to make that sound so bad, but it's
cool. Like you said earlier, as long as there's enough zeros at the end of that paycheck, I'll fucking sell out. I don't care.
I'm talking Metallica money too, dude. Screw
my God.
I need some James Hetfield money for me to sign a damn contract.
Sam Adonis just reached God mode, motherfucker.
Right?
Hell yeah, baby.
Talk about selling out arenas across the world.
And then I'm gonna be
selling out my heart.
Then I'm going to be like Lars and get on YouTube and just pin everything, just flag everything. Say, anything with my face on
basically, Lars here, you know, I can't really do a good Lars, but you know how he is. He's got that annoying voice, dude. I just,
He does. Oh, no.
It's cool though. Let's get into some music talk. You
Dude,
said you
well-
asked some questions here,
You're
right?
talking.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of fucking music, because it ties in with the wrestling a little bit. I mean, you're working for the NWA. Have you had a chance to fucking chop it up with Billy at all?
Dude, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's so weird to me.
Yeah, I bet.
It's one of those things. It's like, because again, we get it in wrestling a lot, you know,
Right.
But I'm so used to it, and wrestling is, you know, there's so many people I've met that there's certain guys that I idolized as children that now I'm like, I don't like that guy. He's a dick, you know. You know what I mean?
He's a dick.
I've been around wrestling long enough to have those stories. So like the novelty of holy shit, there's XYZ, that doesn't happen as much. But still, like when you realize, just think of the level of like, you know, professional wrestling is this, rock and roll is this, you know, it's the size of rock and roll is
Huge dicks in rock and roll.
It's a whole nother level of markets and demographics, you know, and usually rock and roll is worldwide, you know, it's a little bit, yes, WWE is a worldwide product, you know, these people all over the world like wrestling,
Right.
but, you know, music is, whether you understand it or not, it's international, you know, and then people in Poland could be singing the Backstreet Boys word for word without knowing what it means, you know. That's nuts to me to know that there's Billy Corgan right there. Right there. Or, you know, hey Sam, come here. How you doing, man? Nice to see you again. Let's talk for a minute. Like, wait, what? That's Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins. You know, it's like as a kid, it was Bullet with Butterfly Wings was like one of my favorite songs. And it's just nuts to think that, you know, there he is right there. You know, he first name basis and all that stuff. It's really, really cool. So yeah, I definitely enjoy that part about it.
Let's see. Now you're a big Tool fan too, right? You and your brother.
Yeah, my brother's much
Hell
more
yeah.
than me, but I definitely like me some Tool from as childhood. My brother used to basically have a big collection of like old metal, and just his room was like very dark, believe it or not. I don't know if you can tell from the tattoos and stuff.
No,
I believe it. I believe it.
We had his Marilyn Manson posters. We had the black lights with like the neon dragons on the wall.
Yep.
So we'd be basically, you know, listening to the heavy ass industrial metal in his room when mom and dad
Like some
left.
Ministry and shit.
Yeah, not quite that heavy. We would hit like Manson was one of his favorite. Rob Zombie, Tool. He
Nine
liked
Inch
the Purple
Nails.
Circle a lot. Nine Inch Nails a lot. Yeah. It wasn't until I started doing concert security that I did a show for Ministry. I did Testament, Overkill.
Nice.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Security for a lot of those guys. I actually did. I did security for Down. And
Nice.
shit.
Hell yeah.
Bill Anselmo actually almost fell off the stage, and I had to like catch him and push him back up on, like, you know, I was working the pit, and I got him back on stage, and he reached over and like swished my hair, you know, gave me like, thanks, buddy. So that's one of those.
Sam, you're a real fucking swell guy, man.
Pretty good ensemble.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Another time I did security with it's actually on YouTube. Do you remember Howard Stern's Killers of Comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With what was it, Reverend Bob Levy and Shuley and all these guys? They came to Pittsburgh, and I was doing security. I got to spend the whole evening with the Iron Sheik, who was behind the stage. It's an old theater, and they didn't have, the green room wasn't connected to the stage.
Yeah.
So he's sitting back behind stage, like hiding his gimmicks, hiding his joints and all this stuff, drinking and all this stuff. And he's
Chica,
saying, oh,
baby.
he says, oh, you're a big kid. You look like a professional wrestler. I didn't even try. I was like, oh, wow, thank you, sir. And if I had told him my dad was a promoter and all this, you know, it would have been just nuts. I didn't even know where it was going to go. As far as they went. But he was like, you know, Pittsburgh, very famous, big, the city of Bruno San Martino, big #1 star. Also, Kurt Angle, give me these gold medals. Literally wearing his gold medals around his waist. Yeah, no, someone almost got in a fight because he used to come on stage and just cut promos on everyone. Oh yeah, shit, sit down. I will, you know, going nuts with these guys. Well, at the end, he was shaking hands, and some drunk guy shook his hand and ended up like pulling him back in the crowd. Sheik goes down, and then Leo had to go over, break shit up, call the cops, get this guy out of here. Sheik is just freaking out on this guy afterwards from behind the stage. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. I have to send you guys a link to that. But
yeah, dude, don't fuck with Kozlov, man. That, especially back in the day in his prime, that dude would fucking break your bones, you know?
Right. He get you in the camel clutch right on the spot. He wouldn't care.
Fuck your ass, make you humble.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I think when you go back to wrestling, I think what makes a good wrestler is kind of like just life experience, not even wrestling,
Exactly.
life experience. I think that's why a lot of the guys, from an era that's bygone, they became good because of the consistency of the performance. 5-6 nights a week, they're playing that character. They're being that heel. And when you do that often, the line blurs a little bit more and a little bit more. So after, 20 years, are you really Terry Bollea or are you Hulk Hogan? Which one?
Well,
real?
if you ask in court, he was talking about Hulk Hogan's penis.
that was a terrible example. Okay. Let's go with Roderick Toombs, the Roddy Piper. Easy.
There you go.
Less controversial answer. But the point is, it's like, sure. Roderick Toombs was a kid, and he eventually, over time, he became Roddy Piper when Roddy Piper started getting him the tours of Japan, and when he starts getting, the nights at the nightclub with the beautiful women and the rock stars and the stories. That's what makes somebody develop into a character. And I think that's kind of what I have going on. My real life outside of the ring has been fun. I was doing concert security at 18, 19 years old. I knew everyone in the city to go drink at the bars before I was ever allowed to be there. By the time I was 21, I had a WWE contract in Florida. I was going out there, just spending money I didn't have. And then, living in Europe for 4 years, living in Mexico. So it's almost like, they always talk about wrestlers that seem forced. You ever see somebody that's on TV that has a gimmick or a character when you don't quite believe it? I think that's the difference.
Rousey.
That to me is what made a Stone Cold, because there was no line after so long of being the best damn wrestler on the planet and getting the opportunity and having those angry promos, actually being able to deliver it hits you. That's why he became such a phenomenon, because he made you believe, because it was real. He really was that interesting of a person, so
The Rock too, man. Those guys, once they found who the hell they were within the gimmick, like you said, it was because it was so much to them.
And it is, but it comes down to just, I always say creating a wrestler is like baking a stew. You got to take an ingredient and put it in, take this ingredient. Let's get a little bit of that. Let's get a little bit of this. You put it in and you let it marinate. You give it time and let it cook. After, hours, you get your stew. That to me is like, the way I look at it, I take a little bit of Ric Flair, take a little bit of Rick Rude, take this move from Kenta Kobashi, take this move from Misawa, do a little bit, put it in your stew. And just because you did all that doesn't mean you're a good wrestler yet. Put that in the stew, and then you let it marinate for 15 years, and you just keep making it right and adding this and taking that away until that first bite, that now 15 years later,
damn, that tastes good.
Damn.
God damn.
And the secret ingredient is always love, damn it.
Exactly.
TLC.
You're not kidding there, though. The nice thing that it works well is I definitely have become a better performer since I've been less crazy. When I was a single young man going out, on the town, being as wild as could be, sometimes the night out was a little bit more important than the performance or
right.
Yep.
Or making the money. That's the beauty of having my girlfriend Raylyn now, being able to just kind of live a normal life and prioritize what we need. Set a good example for our baby little Shih Tzu Starlord, who's normally in here, normally doing podcast. It's the weirdest thing. If either of us have a podcast, maybe it's because I'm on the computer tonight, not the phone. He loves sitting on our lap during the podcast. I think he's just pissed off at you, Justin, or something. He doesn't want to be here.
What did I do?
Come on, man.
I love puppies.
You didn't share a beer with him. Just trying to give it to me.
Does he like beer? Cervezas?
My girlfriend gave him beer like his third day we had him. He likes it. I don't know if I've ever seen it, but maybe he's stealing. Maybe when we go to bed at night, he gets in the fridge and takes some with his friends.
Oh yeah,
Takes a little nip here and there.
We've all been there.
Hey, I want to kind of circle back to some of the music shit because we've never really gotten like deep into like a lot of like what you're really into as far as like bands and I mean, as far as like old school bands, like shit you grew up on, but is there anything out there that's new that's really catching your attention that you're like, fuck, I gotta go see these guys? Or
Probably the most recent band that I actually gave a shit about would be with the Interrupters. I like them a lot.
I've never heard of them.
They're a punk rock band, like a ska band.
Okay.
Tiger Army. Do you know Tiger Army?
What?
Yep.
Or when you were talking earlier about your brother and like the dark shit and all that stuff, I was about to say because he looks like he's in Tiger Army or something.
No. That's where he got the idea for his haircut. It was from Nick 13.
Psycho Bill, yeah.
Well, that's it's funny. I was just with Nick. He's a good friend of mine.
No shit.
Yeah, no, he's one of the only newer bands because my brother is 10 times more into the music scene than I am. He knows what's new. A lot of times, if I went on a road trip or went for a ride with my brother, I'm probably going to hear something new I've never heard of, and that'll end up on my iPod or whatever. But Tiger Army became one of his favorites, and I was like, this is good shit. So I ended up liking them a lot. Well, they came to Pittsburgh, and I knew my brother was friends with them. So text message. Next thing you know, we have backstage passes. Now, every time I'm in LA, he comes out. He comes to my shows in LA, takes me out to the tiki bars afterwards. And last week we went to a place called Hula's, I think, or Hula Bar or something in Long Beach. So it's another fun thing. I like that happy style music, like the surfer vibe to it and stuff.
Yeah, but, dude, it's punk rock mixed with like the what do you call that, Sreten? You're really into that stuff. The it's like psychobilly is what they call their music. But dude, I've been digging on them for a good long while. I seen them at Riot Fest several years ago in Chicago.
Stage show with the big cello and all that. It's a good stage.
Stand-up bass,
yeah, stand-up bass. That's what it is. Now they're cool. I like the AFI a lot. The thing is, I don't really know where to look now. There's no real mainstream anymore, which sucks because I kind of liked, when there was a mainstream, you kind of knew what you like and knew where to explore. Now, I don't even know how to find something new. Maybe if I accidentally get on my Spotify and maybe pick a song without turning the playlist on, every once in a while there's something new, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just like living in the past or something. I'm quite sentimental. All my music I dig. I mean, Iron Maiden's still number one.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm a Diano man myself.
Who? Dio?
Diano man. Paul Diano.
Paul Diano, yeah.
Original singer.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think Prowler's fantastic. That's one of their best songs, but I think it's the only Diano song I like. But I saw Dio I fucking love.
Yeah. Let's get into that fucking dude. I love Ronnie James Dio. He is heaven in hell.
Here's my argument. I was talking to somebody else that's quite influential in the music industry about this, where Sabbath is Ozzy, but my favorite Sabbath song is Heaven and Hell.
Fuck yeah.
And a lot of people are like that. A lot of
great, dude.
It's weird though. You wouldn't think it. Like you say Black Sabbath, 99% of pop culture and its followers are going to say that's Ozzy Osbourne's old band. Yeah. But then like you say, what's their biggest song or their best song? It probably, I don't know. A lot of people tell you Heaven and Hell, and that's just funny to me. But I saw Dio play in concert in 2004, and he was sick. So he did his entire set sitting on a stool with a coffee mug. And I mean, you've heard the Dio notes. I mean, dude was just belting in a stand-up mic while seated on a stool, and it was the most badass performance you could imagine.
Wow. Sam, go on YouTube and watch like some of the live shit from that era when they first put Heaven and Hell out, and they, oh my fucking God, open up with like Neon Nights or something, and it's just like, I'm getting chills just thinking about it right now, dude.
I've seen some of that stuff. I watch it. That's like, I barely drink anymore, but when I do drink, I love live, not live music, live performances.
Right.
I think like you can find there's a real difference. You can understand why the change is good. Some people think, oh, why do you like going to concerts? Oh, it doesn't sound. sometimes the songs change so much, whether they pick up the pace or something. But I think that's kind of what makes the live show special in its own way. If you want to go and hear exactly what you heard on the album, you're going to be disappointed every time.
Yeah, then throw the fucking album in and quit your bitching and don't go to the fucking show.
I have a version of I think it's Heaven and Hell on one of my phones where he like switched the beginning verses at the end verse. The show opens up, or the song opens with on and on, heaven and hell, and like it keeps going back to the beginning. It's just brilliance. I think those guys. They were real masters, of crowd control and just, creating that vibe. I think that's something that a lot of professional wrestlers don't look at, is how rock and roll, not even rock and roll, just live performing, the performing arts. We almost think performance art is ballet, wrestling, theater, this and that. The performance art is still rock and roll. It just doesn't, nobody looks at it as a performance art. But it still is. And it almost feels like once you crack that code, once you figure out that that's performance art too, and you apply it to whatever the hell you're doing. I mean, David Lee Roth is Jesse Ventura, that's figure it out and how to, put things in the right place and associate, take one from the other, it gets easier and you get better. So,
dude, you're talking about seeing Dio in 2004, and he had a throat cancer because they came back. He hooked back up with Sabbath again, and they renamed the band Heaven and Hell. I heard the story. Like Tony Iommi was pitching it to him. He's like, "Hey, we'd like you to come back. We won't play out live. Maybe do another record." And to kind of entice Ronnie to come back and do it, he was like, "We're not going to do the Ozzy shit because I have the Live Evil album, which is great, and he does Ozzy shit, and he does it good. Why? Because he does it the way Dio would do it. He doesn't
exactly
copy fucking Ozzy, And I'll admit, when I was a kid, young dumb kid, just learning my ways through music and shit. I mean, I've always loved Black Sabbath, but maybe it's because I didn't hear much of the Dio shit back then. I was always like, oh man, that's not Sabbath. Now I start to become a teenager and I'm listening to this shit and it fucking like just punched me in the head. Like, holy shit, dude, Mob Rules and Heaven and Hell are fucking amazing. Yeah. Long story short, they did another album, The Devil You Know, which is a great fucking album, dude. For him having that cancer. Black on it? Is it I want my Bible black.
I love that song. That's a good one. Yeah.
That's great, dude. And they were around here in Chicago in like 2010, man. Like right before he passed, and I don't know what it was, but I didn't go to the show, and I'm forever until I die kicking myself, man.
We just had the Stones here in Pittsburgh a couple months ago, and like I didn't go, and now I'm like, damn it. And I think I'm going to do my best. It sucks traveling as much as we do because it's hard to make time to do stuff like that.
Right.
Like as I get older, the more I appreciate just, even if you're in the last fucking seat of the building, just to say, I saw Eric Clapton, I saw David Bowie, I saw whoever it is you're going to see. These guys.
Have you seen Bowie and Clapton?
No.
I've seen Clapton.
I was going to say, you son of a bitch.
These
Clapton's amazing live.
I think the live version is better than the unplugged Layla version is better than the actual.
I agree. Totally agree.
But just being able to see these guys, you think about the way history is written down, 1,000 years from now, these are going to be the greatest poets of history. We're going to be talking about, David Bowie the same way you talk about Homer, who wrote the Odyssey. You know what I mean?
Jim Morrison.
It's exactly. So, it's really, I don't know. I need to make more of an effort to see more of these guys because it's one of those things just to say, fuck, I was in the same room as that dude. I saw him, so.
Well, especially the older cats too. I mean, and dude, everybody's fucking dropping like flies. It's like, I remember that was the big reason Danzig got back with the Misfits. It was something we never thought we would ever see. And as soon as I heard that, instantly like buying fucking tickets, went and seen them at Riot Fest. I've seen them. They were at, what was it? The Allstate too, I think, or whatever other Chicago show they fucking played. But he said in the interview that he's like, we're fucking getting older. I'm looking at guys, and this is right when Bowie passed and a bunch of other people. And he's like, if we don't do it now, we're never going to have this chance because we're all dying off, all the great rock stars. And that sucks because that makes me feel old as dirt. But you know, you got to do that. You got to go see these things. And there's times where I feel you, man. Just, you know, I'm not traveling as much as you, obviously, but I feel like just within my work schedule, my family schedule, you know, the podcast schedule and the band schedule, when I do get the time for myself, I'm like, man, I just want to
sit at home,
veg out, you know.
Yeah.
But there's this sick ass concert. I need to go see it, you know.
Right. Somebody record it for me.
Yeah, no, the
Bootlegs.
Misfits is one that my girlfriend and I have been talking about going to see. She's a little bit better at staying up on real life than I am. Like she actually knows where to look and how to find these things. And she'll say, "Hey, Misfits are playing in Milwaukee on March 18th. We should go." And I like,
are they really?
No, that again, Chicago. What's the date? Riot Fest again?
They're doing Riot Fest again?
They're doing Riot Fest again.
Did they announce that?
What she's been told. So I don't know. Was that announced? One of her clients told her that. So she
nice.
Well, I heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, no shit. Since they came back, they had like it was like a 12 or 16 show.
Shit, we're gonna blow up. We're gonna go viral for the wrong reason tonight. Pro Wrestling Podcast confirms the Misfits Riot Fest. Meanwhile, we're gonna get canceled on Tuesday because everyone's like, "Fuck you guys."
That's what it's all about, though. That's about getting the juice and wetting them up, dude. We're we like to throw everything in the mix.
jpdub buries Misfits. Wait, what?
Here's the point, though. If they do announce it, then this episode is awesome.
Yep.
Dude, I hope so. I would love to see him again. That would be the only thing to make me go to. Last time I went to Riot Fest, dude, I was there all 3 fucking days, and it was brutal, man.
September 16th and 18th in Chicago. So, it is confirmed.
It is confirmed?
Yes.
Oh.
Rachel says you're welcome, everyone. So
thank you. Thank you very much.
We might have to join you with that for you.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Riot Fest.
That would be one hell of a show.
Tell Steve to book the night before, you know.
There you go.
Warrior Wrestling at Riot Fest. It's kind of a oxymoron, isn't it?
Now you're talking.
I know like Freelance was trying to do some shit at Riot Fest. I don't know if it ever came to fruition or not, but that would be fucking awesome. I know shout out to Mecha Wolf. He was just Danzig did this Elvis covers album, and he did like 2 shows where it was just him playing Elvis, like old school, like the king himself. And I love Elvis.
Right.
Like
I do too. I'm a big Elvis guy.
Holy shit. And I was so pissed I couldn't go. I was like, brother, how the fuck was that? He's like, it's exactly how you thought it was.
He's actually good buddies with Danzig now, I guess. And Doyle. He plays well as.
I'm playing with Doyle March 11th.
Yeah, you are.
Where's that at?
In Hobart, Indiana, in my hometown.
How far is that from Indy?
A couple hours. It's not bad. We're right next to Gary.
March 12th, I'm in Indy. Maybe I'll come in the night before.
You should, dude. You should come see us fucking play, dude. I'll fucking put you up, man.
I'll check that out. That sounds good.
I have a question in a similar vein of you talking about trying to catch these concerts with the old timers just to say you were in there. How does it make you feel now that you've been in the wrestling business for 15 years with all these different promotions and you've, like you said earlier, you know who the dickheads are, you know who the assholes are, but you've actually gotten to wrestle some legends, talk with some legends, drink beers with some legends, people that are going to have a mark in the history, and you still don't know what your legacy will be, because even though you've been wrestling for 15 years, you know, your career as far as your age and where you're at right now is it could be like, I'm not being a dick to say this, but it's sort of in its infancy where you still got so many places you could potentially go and things that you can do. And like, how does your brain wrap your head around that shit? Like, there's probably not enough assholes that you've met, and you probably appreciate how many good, like really cool legends that you met. And, you know, like, I don't know where the question was, but
I think I can expand on that.
There you go.
I'm a little bit different than a lot of people, though, just because, yes, I've wrestled for 15 years, but I grew up around it before that. So I've seen this, you know, it's like growing up in a bakery, you know, you're going to know how to make some donuts. So, you know, I've been around it. I've seen it. So I'm kind of like insane, because it's almost like wrestling has passed me by in a weird way, because the new generation and the new norms are so far removed from what my norms are, from what I was taught at a young age. Do you know what I mean? So it almost feels like I can see some of these guys. I could be in the, let's say an Ultimo Dragon or a Yoshihiro Asai, Joe Nakayama, Negro Passage, these superstars, these big guys. They can see me almost as like oh man, this is a good kid. He knows his shit. He's been, and then there can also be some, let's say a newer wrestler, a guy that's a star now, might not understand why I have what I have. What's the big deal about Sam Adonis? He doesn't do that cool move. He doesn't do this, what we do. He doesn't super kick. He doesn't Canadian destroy. Why do people like Sam Adonis? So it's weird because I feel like my communication with the wrestlers business is almost, I see it from a different perspective. And that's kind of what I've always aimed towards. I want the respect of the guys that I respect. You know what I mean? So somebody that I meet that, I want them to say, damn, that kid is good. And then there's other people that maybe everyone else on the show is trying to suck up to, and that's trying to kiss his ass because they want his respect and attention. And to me, it could be like, yeah, whatever. It's not, that dude doesn't know shit. You know what I mean?
A D-bagger.
It's just different philosophies, if you will. You know what I mean? So I love it. I still think, I'm a firm believer that slow and steady wins the race. I do, I appreciate you saying that because I still think my best years are ahead of me. I think wrestling now is screwed up because we have, there's so many schools open. 90% of schools do not deserve to be open. Wrestlers that have never done anything, never learned correctly, are teaching kids how to learn incorrectly just to make money on it. There's so much of that going on. And, there's so many people that are just trying to get theirs from wrestling, and they're in a rush. They're in a hurry to sign that contract. Oh, I got to get signed. Oh my God, I can't wait to get signed. Oh my God, I almost got signed. Not even realizing the amount of shit you have to deal with once you start signing a single piece of paper. How many times do you see it in pro wrestling where somebody's, you see a tweet, XYZ has signed with XYZ. 6 months later, they're complaining on the internet about, oh my God, what an unfair contract. That's such bullshit. They didn't let me do this. I was booked here and they didn't do that. That's what a contract is.
Yeah.
That's what they are. Don't hurry. Don't rush. Do it right. Take your time. Learn. Get better. Be the best that you can do. And understand that, it's taken me 15 years and I've already done infinitely more than most independent wrestlers ever will. But I still have so much more to do because I'm not in a damn rush. If I was in a hurry, I would have just ran away after I got released from WWE in 2011. You get there. Oh, I got signed. It didn't work out. Bye. And go be a shoe salesman. I think that's what people now are so desperate to sign and just get that contract and just to be able to say they could sign. And then they get in a system that's not ready to have them, that doesn't care about them, that doesn't value them. They chew them up, they spit them out, and then they try to pick that momentum up that they had before they signed, and it will never happen again. Right now, there's companies out there that, there's 1 million people in line to get these jobs. And as soon as you go out and wait in that line, you kill all your credibility. You kill your value. You know what I mean? If you want to play the Whiskey A Go-Go, you just get good. Just go ahead and start, be the best band you can get and hope one day someone from the Whiskey A Go-Go calls you. If you go call Whiskey A Go-Go every Friday at 3 p.m. and they know you're desperate to play, they're going to say, okay, kid, we'll give you Friday night at 2 a.m. We'll give you $150 a person. Meanwhile, you're taking a loss on that show because they have dominion over you. They know that they got you because you're kissing their ass and you're waiting in that line. People need to just, realize that it's not a rush. Work your ass off. Get good. People will notice. People will care. You can make a career out of wrestling instead of just having your 15 minutes of fame.
Sam, I got one more question as we wind down here. I saw on your Twitter earlier today the bootleg figures. Where the hell did that picture come from? Who made those awesome figures? And why do I need them so bad?
I was just going to say, I want them.
In Mexico, they have really loose copyright laws. So much so that that's why WWE only does one tour of Mexico per year.
Gotcha.
Because their merchandise sales at each live event take such a hit because you get the same t-shirt outside the arena
Yeah.
for $5. So it's like that. That's a major reason why the NFL didn't open a Mexico City team like 10 years ago. They just can't regulate it. The city's infrastructure is not designed to regulate it.
Dude, the 2 times I played down there, I bought so many band shirts that I up here it'd be like $35. Like you said, $5. I got this sweet Morbid Angel t-shirt or something. Like, yeah.
Well, that's the point. You can't go to a supermarket or a store and buy wrestling toys. You can't WWE toys because they're considered like Marvel or whatever. It's like they're official.
Right.
You can't go buy Mexican wrestling toys at the store, but every like little market and every like independent little chain, independent little bodega, they have these wrestling toys, and a lot of them are just hand painted. There might be one generic mold, one generic body. And some guys are like, well, how do I sell more of these? Well, I'll paint this one like Diamante Azul. I'll paint this one like Cycle Clown. I'll paint this one like Sam. Somebody literally takes these things and paints them, as detailed as you could imagine. And they used to do it for me when I was there originally. And I'm assuming they've been going on since I've been back in Mexico. I just haven't seen them yet because I don't spend as much time there now that I don't live there. Mm-hmm. But they sell them outside the wrestling shows, and you can buy the little versions of me all over that place. So now next time I go back, I'm going to make sure I round up some for the troops and probably sell them at the Warrior Wrestling shows. I actually had them at Warrior before. I'm surprised you never got one.
Really? Which Warrior was this?
Damn it. I had them in a couple of them. One of your listeners is bound to have one. They have there. And the cool thing is I always update my tights. I always have different colored tights.
Yes.
Well, these painters, they're detailed as shit. They will literally get every picture of my tights as they can and paint the exact replicas. If you have a cut on your forearm, they'll paint that cut on your forearm. So it's awesome, dude. It's kind of funny though. It's that's surreal because you're like, there's somebody cares enough about me in a different country to make shitty toys to sell outside of a store. It's one of those things. I swear, my life has so many moments like that where. I could be sitting at a bar just hanging out and trying to talk to some of the locals. And I think there's a good chance most people would just say, this guy's full of shit, because my story is like a movie, man. There's this ridiculous thing happen. And I couldn't be more happy and proud with the way things have gone, but like I said, I'm in no damn rush. I'm just happy to kick it and enjoy it, take it all as it comes. And I love it, man. I'm happy to be part of the team of Warrior, and I'm happy to be here with you guys tonight.
Fuck yeah. Good things come to people who wait, man. And
exactly,
dude, you're the perfect example of that. Speaking of waiting, I know your brother was it's been announced all over the internet that he's been cleared to go again. I mean, as soon as you probably knew before anybody else, but as soon as you,
before everyone else,
right there you go. As soon as you knew that news, though,
keep it secret.
I mean, is the gears start turning? I mean, that's your brother, dude. You want to do something with him. Obviously, is that something that you hope that somehow, some way, this shit could work out, or what?
Absolutely, that would be one of my big dreams. That's kind of what upset me in the first place. Is the fact that the little guy made the debut.
There he is.
Look at him.
When my brother was initially hurt, that's what kind of sucked the wind out of my sails. It made me so upset. It was very selfish, clearly, because my brother has his kids and, it's going to be way worse for him than anything.
Yeah.
But selfishly, it was like, this is my brother. We grew up wrestling on the bed together. We literally have done everything together. And I'd love to have our WrestleMania 10, I'd love Sam Adonis against Corey Graves, WrestleMania from Pittsburgh, whatever it is, I'd love that moment just to capitalize on it because we both, we put the work in. We've both put the work in. We both love wrestling. I think we've proved that we care, we love wrestling, and we respect it more than anyone, so I think that was something that sooner or later would have been somewhere on the cards. So when that happened and he was, forced to retire, that hurt me a lot. I was like, damn it,
Yeah,
but at the same time, I know how bad it hurt him and how much, he misses being in the ring. He definitely loves, being a performer. The nice thing is he's so talented at the commentary.
He's one of the best things they've had on commentary in decades, dude. I mean, you had their last crop of good commentators like Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. And after that, a lot of the people that came and went, I was like, yeah. And I think what's his name? Tom Phillips, Tom Hannafin now, who's in Impact. I think he's great too. But dude, your brother fucking tears it up, and he gives me those vibes. You can tell he's a student of the game. He gives you those old school like Jesse Ventura, Bobby the Brain vibes. You know,
that's kind of the beauty of it. Is he still gets to be that tongue-in-cheek heel and gets to perform character. But it's hard to sit back. As a brother, I'm sure he's probably watched some of my stuff, and he's happy for me. He wants to be, he likes knowing that I'm taking care of myself and doing well. But I guarantee there's moments where he says, "Shit, I wish I was able to do that." It's nice to know that now.
He signed that paper, though, man. He signed that paper that you were talking about.
It would be nice to know, whether it's WWE or somewhere else, somewhere down the line. I would love to work with him. I think, especially now, given his history of concussions and injuries, tag team work could be a great thing. Something safe for him. We're both 100% supportive of each other all the time. So I'd love to get back in there with him. Like I said, if it was a perfect world, it'd be WrestleMania 42 live from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh with 70,000 people and, all that good stuff. But I don't know if that's going to happen, but either way, it'd be cool to get back in there and get it going.
Yeah, for sure. Sam, right now, I want you, obviously this weekend you have a huge title defense at Warrior coming up with Lince Dorado. That's going to fucking tear the house down. I will be there watching that, and I'll probably be ringing the bell for you too. So, I've been thinking about throwing some grind shit in there, some ding, 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 real fast fucking blast beating on that bell.
A little bit of Lombardo ride bell.
Dave Lombardo ride.
Oh yeah,
bell,
dude.
Right? Let's get that Slayer vibes. Who also he also drums for the Misfits now. So that's super dope. But what else? Let everybody right now know what else you have coming up. Any appearances, any shows where they can buy any merch and get a hold of you at, brother.
The best thing to do would just be stay in touch via Twitter and Instagram. Real Sam Adonis on both platforms. Let's see where we're at. Next week we have March 20 or February 12th is Chicago for Warrior Wrestling. February 19th, I am in Veracruz, Mexico for AAA. The 20th will be Torreon, Mexico. The 27th, I'm back in Chicago with some independent. I forget the name. But March, I'm all over the place. Please, I can't keep up with it. The nice thing is there's a lot of these that I know it's really hard to list all your dates. A lot of times, especially in Mexico.
I'm a dick. I put you on the spot. My apologies.
It's most of the time, like in Mexico or something. A lot of times I'm not even announced. As a heel, you're going to come do run-ins and stuff like that. It's really hard. I'm around. I will be around. I'll be a lot in Chicago, in Mexico, and in Los Angeles a lot this coming year. So
March in Indianapolis with Warrior 2. You guys running down there for the first time.
That's going to be killer. There's a big match that's signed for that one that I am not at liberty to say.
God damn it. Cut this episode because I want to know.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Me too.
But yeah, everything's lined up, man. If anybody needs me or wants to contact me, Real Sam Adonis, just shoot me my inbox. It might take a day or 2 or 5 for me to actually see the message requests, but I check them and I look forward to hearing from everybody.
Fuck yeah. And brother, we always look forward to talking to you, man. It's always great to see you in person and to have you back on the show. The forbidden door is always open, even though there is no forbidden door. Our doors are always open.
That part makes me angry. Well, that's just goes to show you that nobody's a wrestling historian or a nerd like I am. There's literally never been a moment in the history of wrestling where there hasn't been promotions working with each other in some capacity.
Yeah.
Never a day.
True.
Yeah. WWE created that stigma because it was like, hey, we're the only game in town. That's like the forbidden door is a modern thing.
Even then, it came off that way for a minute, but that was just because of WCW and WWF. But even back then, WWF was working with Smoky Mountain, and they were in Memphis.
They were funding ECW.
ECW, All Japan Women, 92 or 95. I mean,
I think they had some CMLL guys come in.
Dude, I mean, it really blows my mind, and it almost makes you laugh. Because we give the internet and reputation so much attention and credibility.
Yeah.
All you have to do is think about exactly that and realize, oh, wow. Why do I care about that, false opinion when clearly there's no merit or basis behind it?
Yeah. They make us focus on so much dumb shit. I'm glad that I really don't. That's up. I leave that to everybody else in the world that likes to be stupid with that shit. Hey,
Exactly.
Sam, thank you once again, brother. We fucking love you. We love your work. You know, all the best to you always. And, you know, if you can make it up for that Doyle show, we'll be in contact, you know,
Awesome.
until then. You
Good
need
deal.
to fucking get your ass up here. I'll put you up. We'll have a good time. We'll eat. We'll drink some water since you ain't drinking any beer anymore. Well, hey, dude,
Yeah.
Bud Light next. It's 0 carbs. They just announced it.
What?
0 carbs. So we will be drinking beer again, motherfucker.
All right. Well, either way, I will see you guys. I will see Chicago this Saturday. And if anybody needs me, hit me up.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys.
That's right.
Thank you.
For
Always
the
an honor.
power of the Juice
Thank
Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah.
Listen to Sam Adonis, you motherfuckers. And make sure you hit like and subscribe. If you're watching right now on YouTube, if you're listening out there in podcast land, be sure to rate and review and share this with your friends because we like to have fun. That's right. Fun. Wrestling is fun.
Always
Believe
is.
that. Hey, hit up our Pro Wrestling Tees store too. Buy some merch. Look at that. Sam, I know you like that middle shirt.
Technico rudo.
That's good.
Sreten's super proud of it because it's only like worthwhile idea he's had in his life, but whatever, you know.
Oh,
It should
poor
be
guy.
the other way around, though. That would get better pop.
Hey, we can always come out with another version.
Yeah. All right,
You might
guys.
get
I will
laid
see
more
you
if it
later.
was the
Yeah,
other
I'm
way.
signing off here.
All right, brother.
All right, brother. Thank you
Good
once
night, guys.
again, man.
Yeah.
And that was our second killer episode with Sam Adonis. Like I said, hit all those buttons, share it with all your friends, shop our Pro Wrestling Tees store, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those things. We're glad to be back. Bruce and Bodie, I know you're fucking glad to be back.
Damn
Rocking
right.
that Sick Ass Venom t-shirt. Spreading the Savage, who doesn't say much of anything, and we like it that way. I know you're glad to be back because you'll make us sound like queens. And I love you for that. Thank you, brother. Welcome back from Serbia, from
Yes,
Holiday. We fucking
yes.
love you.
Love you, Sret.
Piece of shit. Until next time, there's a little thing we like to do. We like to wet 'em up, wet 'em up, wet 'em
Let
up,
'em up.
wet 'em up. We're back. You motherfuckers, we're back. Oh yeah, dig it. Roar.
You gonna do sex to me?
Did you like that video? If so, be sure to hit like and subscribe and check out more killer content from your boys at Juice Pro Wrestling. Whoa, yeah!